So if you're someone who is running a recruitment firm and you're constantly thinking about AI and the market shift and the dynamics of the market that are completely changing, then this video might change your mind in the way that you look at AI completely. Now, let me tell you a story. There is this firm called the Juicebox. You might have heard the news. They have raised around $85 million at $850 million valuation. And it's like the fastest growing AI company for recruitment. Now, what primarily they do is they find candidates. So they have a big database of candidates, and they also find candidates from third-party sources like other providers like Indeed and LinkedIn, and all these third-party providers are supported through the People GPT. So this process of finding the candidate, which is access to the candidate, and then screening those candidates, finding the right fit, is primarily the work that a recruiter like you would spend hours or days actually doing. And that was the competitive advantage that you had so far, right? And so if you're worried about AI, you should be, because the places which were the most time consuming are now completely handled by AI. But the angle or the perspective that I'm giving you in this video is completely different from what normal people are talking about. If you're scrolling through LinkedIn, everyone is talking about AI is replacing recruitment or a big Armageddon is coming, which is nothing close to the truth. So what you should be looking at is, if you analyze the platforms like Juicebox, what they are doing is they're heavy on the data side. They are building an infrastructure and doing all the things that were supposed to be repetitive, that were supposed to be replaced, and handling all the things that were supposed to be handled by a machine or an automation, and which is the work that is already handled by them. So what is left is the human-to-human touch, because sourcing or finding the candidate is not the work that you would have done. So if you look at the platforms like Juicebox, what they primarily do is they have a big databases. They compress the time to find the talent, which primarily is the goal for a bigger firm. You know, everyone wants speed, and AI is giving you that lever of speed. AI is making everything faster. So you shouldn't be worried about AI giving you the speed. You should be more optimistic and more excited about it. So if you would have, let's say, taken 10 days for finding 100 people and 100 applications, now that can be done in 1 day. And what is happening is that the speed is giving you time to focus on the things that you would just ignore, like the important thing that you would ignore based on the urgency of finding people. So you get the database and access across all the platforms in one click. So you get the candidate, and the mechanism they're using is like proactive candidate sourcing, which means that if you're reaching out to someone and you already have researched the candidate through that platform, you know, if you're reaching out to a company, you already have the candidate in place, so which is a competitive advantage, because now you're reaching out with a ready and screened candidate that you have access to, and you can chat to the candidate, and if the company asks for it, you can just directly have the candidate on the interview. So primarily, the speed is what is becoming a competitive moat. People ask about, is there a competitive moat in the structure of running a recruitment business, which is not true. The speed is the competitive moat, as I mentioned, which is primarily the faster you reach out to a company, the faster you reach out to the replies, the faster you can deliver on the candidate, the faster you can fill a role and place the candidate, the higher the chances that you will rise in the market and company would prefer you. Now, the main areas that you should be looking for your firm is primarily the operation side of your business. Most of the firms are focusing on the branding side on the AI, like they're using AI in the messaging and the posting and in the relationship side, which is a completely wrong thing. You have to completely cut the AI use there. What primarily you should be using AI for is the backend, the system side, like Juicebox. What they're doing is they're handling the backend side, the candidate sourcing, the database, the systems, the SOPs. If you handle that side, which compress your time to talent and also time to client acquisition, now you can use your personal time to build relationship, to reach out to people, to post your experiences, to share more about the things that you care about, and so establish a more deeper connection, because previously you didn't have time to actually build that connection because you were so busy on the back end building out those candidate processes and reaching out and doing interviews. Now you have all the time to build the front end, which is a relationship, which is actually reaching out to people and actually getting the partnership. Because if you have more time and you're reaching out to and compare yourself with other firm who isn't properly using AI on the back end, they don't have time. They're again stuck on the old patterns. They don't have time to reach out. Now you have the advantage. You have to use that. So AI is not coming for you. It is coming with you. It is coming to help you in the back end so you can have more time on building a relationship, which is primarily the core thing that we should be focused on. Now, where does it end? It ends on all the levels where human to human touch is involved. So the fundamentals are simple. There will be businesses 10 years from now. There will be humans in the businesses. They will be making decisions. If there are robots and also there are people, which is obviously a long way ahead, but still there will be people making decisions. And for each business, there will be human required. If that's like less number or more number, with time and complexity, the number of humans will increase. And you might have seen the AI cost that's rising currently. Microsoft laying out their employees. You have Uber just spending the whole of their yearly budget in half of the year. You have a lot of companies cutting down the AI cost. Why? Because it's now equal to human labor, and human labor is doing better than AI is for the time input in the creative work or the operational work, especially in the decision making, the quality of the decision, because obviously humans are real world creatures. So the cost is rising for the AI. So what companies would do is they would just keep the lower models and a self-driven models to their companies and then run the whole systems with humans. And so if a business would need people, if a business would have an owner, if a business would have humans, and the business would exist, then recruitment will still be there. It would still be there 100 years from now, because humans would need to do interaction, they would need to profit, they would need to do the trades, and people would need to hire people and use leverage, because a single owner have only 24 hours. He can't manage hundreds of agents if even AI is doing the work, or he can't even manage hundreds of robots. So they will need people, but the transformation is what is actually happening that you have to focus on. So transformation is at different levels. Currently it's on the lower end. Nothing is changing right now, or slowly changing, and so you can adapt to the situation really faster. But you shouldn't be too adaptive. Like most people just let the AI run their business, which just destroy their business, because AI hasn't the potential to run the business right now. So there are like key strategic things that you have to take into account, especially the relationship, as I mentioned, the messaging. Let the AI run the operational and the bottleneck side. So if you see firms like Juicebox raising funds, you have to break down those firms and see where in the systems, where in the cycles, or where in the processes are they fit in. What can they do for you? How can they compress the time to the outcome for the companies, for the tenant hiring, and how you can use it instead of why this is happening. So if you just shift your perspective and use AI from an optimistic perspective, instead of just creating a FOMO that you just work hard, that AI is coming for your jobs, and all the FOMO that is being created by creators and also companies and people who have their own motives to sell their courses, to sell their content, to sell their products, and also to sell their bigger visions to you. Primarily, you have to differentiate between opinions and facts and look at the data, what the data is actually saying. Especially in the recruitment industry, the noise is much more, so you have to have a clear noise to signal ratio and focus on the thing that actually moves the needle, because at the end of the day, the company needs a candidate who is talented, who actually care about the company values and culture, and who would actually move the company faster and reliably in the future, because a fundamental decision of the company direction or really at hands of the person that the company is hiring. So these are strategic things that a company would not trust an AI or a robot to hire. So you are there, you have a key strategic role, but the direction that you have to look at is completely different from what normal people are saying. Now, if you really want to scale your recruitment firm beyond $1 million in yearly revenue, and you want a predictable system that would generate 10 to 15 high quality book meetings and book engagements on your calendar while you work on the candidate side, you can book a call with me. I would analyze your business. We would sit together. We would find out the bottleneck, what are the problems, and what is stopping you from hitting that revenue milestone. If we found out that we are fit for work together, we would invite you to a partnership with us, and we would start working together. So I will link down the booking link in the description. You can book the call. See you on the next site. Thank you.